Welcome. We are here today to talk about the Denver Student-Oriented Field Experience, otherwise known as the Denver SOFE. The Denver SOFE explores the disparities between wealth and poverty and the opportunities that nonprofit organizations have in addressing inequality. Participants of the Denver SOFE, all Masters of Nonprofit Management students at Regis University, work to understand why these disparities exist and how to change the current situation. Regis is a Jesuit university, and the M&M program closely aligns with Jesuit values. Regis is intentionally provocative in the way that Jesuit education always has been. We challenge people to ask the tough questions and to take action in the things they really believe in. The M&M seeks to answer one of the central Jesuit questions: how ought we to live? In this tradition, the Denver SOFE also provides an intense learning environment through both individual and group work, as well as many experiential opportunities. This course has 2 main facilitators and up to 15 students, and it incorporates the expertise of many local practitioners and organizations to provide a breadth and depth of experience for students. It is designed so that students can participate in activities such as dialogue with leaders in the sectors, service experiences with nonprofit workers, and an examination of the historical, social, political, economic, and cultural conditions that create wealth and poverty. Students also have an opportunity to connect and work with nonprofit organizations, and all students develop critical thought about the realities of disparity and their effects on society. My name is Laura, and I am a SOFE student. I am thrilled to present a panel of my fellow students who will speak to their experiences of the Denver 2014 SOFE and the Masters of Nonprofit Management program. With that, I would like to introduce Craig. He's from the Denver area. Welcome, Craig.
Hello.
We have Tracy.
Hi.
She also is from the Denver area. And we have Eric.
Hello.
And he is from the Fort Collins area. And I'd like to start with this question. Tell me, why is experiential learning important to you? Let's start with you, Craig.
Yeah, it's a big part of this SOFE experience, and most of us are coming out of 2 years being in a master's program, a lot of time in the classroom, and we're all, the majority of us are working full-time as well. So this week really provides kind of a concentrated time of experiencing what the sector is doing in the Denver metro area and seeing all the different areas that nonprofits work in to create social change.
Yeah, that's great. So Tracy, what do you think?
Well, being from Denver, born and raised here, I actually didn't know a lot about the community. I didn't know what organizations were doing. So the SOFE gave me insight on what other organizations are doing to make a difference in their communities.
Right, great. Eric, what would you have to say?
Well, I come from a background where we're really working with young people with experiential education. So I'm always kind of the one teaching it or behind the scenes, so to speak. So to be in the forefront with my, me being in there, me, interacting with students, interacting with the community, it's a powerful experience on the other side, and I speak very highly of it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, great. So with that being said, what kind of advice would you have for somebody that's, say, considering the SOFE program?
Well, keeping it, I guess, from a personal standpoint with my cultural heritage and background, the way that we learn specifically is hands-on, so to speak, to any other people out there who may relate to me in some way or other. It's been a phenomenal experience. I struggled all through college, K through 12, undergraduate, and it wasn't until I started at Regis that I really started to excel, because I'm able to put stuff in action. So, jump at it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Tracy, what would you say?
I really enjoyed it because when we would go visit nonprofits like around the Denver area, they would say, hey, we need a grant writer, or we need somebody on the board, or this position's opening. So we were the first to find out about it. So that's a great way to get your way in the door. Your foot in the door.
Yeah, no, great point, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's other SOFE experiences internationally in the M&M program, and so there's obviously opportunities there, but this is a great way to see a city. You know, for me, I'm married, I have 4 kids, my family's in the metro area, and it's just a thought for people looking at this SOFE experience is we're kind of committed to each other for this week to be on campus. We live together on campus, and we're together all week, 24/7, and that's a big part of the experience and the commitment you make. But it's really worthwhile. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you all. That's great. I'd like now to pose a little bit tougher question. I want you to tell us how this has changed you as a leader, and I'd like to start with Tracy this time.
Well, before starting the SOFE, we read a book called Everybody Leads, and it kind of talks about the different styles of leadership, and I didn't even know my kind of leadership had a style. So it was nice to kind of read more into that and like how I could engage the community and actually, you know, step back and be a part of the community and let someone else lead. So it was a great experience.
That's great. Eric, what would you say?
Well, I've been in the nonprofit sector for almost 10 years, and you know, I've been doing a lot of work with at-risk youth. I say in-risk youth, but everybody, you know, says left and right, Eric, you're a leader, you know, or automatically they just delegate you to do something. I never took that seriously because I didn't think personally I was ready. And going through this program, actually, you know, this whole week being a part of this experiential program has really excited me to, you know, to get back out there and get busy and to honor that role that people have been putting on you as leader and to accept it. So.
Oh, that's just great. Craig, what would you add?
Yeah, I think part of what you get to see this week too is leadership on display. So we've had leadership classes in the program, and those are great, and you get to kind of look at different frameworks and theories of leadership. But to really be out and seeing executive directors running organizations and what their leadership styles look like, it kind of opens your eyes to that. And I'd also just echo what Tracy said as far as the book we read. And I grew up with this idea that you were an innate leader or you weren't. So you either kind of had that gifting or you didn't. And I think this has challenged my idea of leadership to see where people can rise up to lead in all sorts of contexts and all sorts of settings. So yeah, it's really exciting.
That's great. I mean, as you can tell, really, really powerful experiences that we have with this Denver SOFE. And in fact, so powerful, I think it's really important now. We have created a public service announcement that we'd like to share with you now so that you can hear the voices of some of our other nonprofit leaders that have gone through this program and really get a feel for what they have been through and what this experience has meant to them.
I used to be a demanding leader, and now I understand what it means to be a servant leader.
I used to feel that I had the answers, and now I know I must never stop asking the questions.
I used to be a sideliner, but now I'm getting into the game.
Antes quería ayudar. Hoy puedo hacerlo porque me enseñaron a aprender cómo hacerlo.
I used to think that my voice didn't matter. Now I know that any voice can be a catalyst for change.
I used to doubt myself, but now I know I have purpose.
I used to be limited in my perspective and mission, but now I have unlimited possibilities for my future.
I used to be a charitable donor, and now I'm a servant.
I used to be told who I would be. I used to be told what I couldn't do. And now I know I have the power to make the choice for myself.
Before, I felt isolated in a journey to make change in the world. Now, I feel connected to a community of leaders who have the tools to make that a reality.
I used to live in a community, but now I'm a part of a community.
So that was a wonderful PSA, and it was really exciting. We all had the opportunity to make that PSA together, and it was really an incredible experience. We learned a lot about working together and leadership in a whole different arena. So it was really a wonderful, wonderful thing. That being said, let's go on. I've got some more questions for you all. So what have you gained this week during your SOFE experience? Eric, let's start with you.
You like starting with me?
I do like starting with you.
Well, for one, I know it may not seem like that now, but I haven't always had a voice. So to be able to come here and, you know, it seems like where I'm at right now, my voice is kind of silenced or muffled a bit. And here I feel very confident with the skills that I have learned that you know, I can put that out there. So I would say that's one of the top ones, is to be able to use my voice again.
Yeah, great. Tracy?
I've gained a lot emotionally and mentally, but I think I gained a lot of relationships with people I wouldn't have met if I wouldn't have come on this SOFE. So hopefully, you know, we all stay in contact. Maybe, you know, in the future, I might meet somebody that's working in mental health, or I might meet somebody that's working with homelessness. So it's really good to keep those connections, make those connections through this.
Excellent point, yeah.
Yeah, the network's a huge thing for sure, and we've met a lot of people. I think a special thing with the SOFE and the way it's been designed is a lot of these organizations we're visiting, and the people who work in them are graduates of this program. So we're kind of seeing that the people who came before us and went through the same program and got the same tools are out in the community in a variety of ways, doing all kinds of things, and they're being successful at it. So that's kind of like an added encouragement, and that was a big add for me this week.
That's great. All right, our final question. So can you share a little bit about some of the people or organizations that you have met this week? Something special that you have to tell us? Tracy, start with you.
I really enjoyed visiting the Chanda project, or Chanda plan. It was, I have no idea, I don't know too much about spinal cord injury or the work around it, because I've been in youth advocacy. So, and it was an eye-opener, and it really touched me to see that, you know, there's people inspiring in different communities and in different nonprofits. So I really enjoyed that one.
So many experiences like that this week. Yeah, really. Craig, let's...
Yeah, it's really hard to pick, but Streets Hope is an example of the woman who's running that. The executive director is a graduate of this program, and they really work with a marginalized part of this community and victims of sex trafficking in a powerful way. So getting to see her work and how she's going about figuring out in this first few years as ED the tools and the things she needs to do to get it to serve the community, it was really a neat thing.
That's great. Eric, let's finish up with you.
Well, it's hard to pick one, and one of the coolest things I'd like to point out was a lot of the leaders in position were M&Mers, which was really inspiring. I mean, how do you pick? Art, health, culture, disability? I mean, there's just so many.
Yeah.
And the one I guess that stands out for me the most is because it's a vision of my own, was Clínica Tepeyac. They're trying to get it all under one roof, and with people that are struggling out there, I mean, to have everything right there, accessible, within arm's reach is just amazing. But not to discount any of the others, they're just all amazing.
Yeah, and each one has its own special relevance to us, but I agree with you, everything has been so poignant. So, well, really, thank you all so much for being willing to share your experiences. I know I've really enjoyed this experience, and I certainly have enjoyed meeting all of you and the rest of our classmates. And so we'd like to thank you also for watching this program and for learning about the SOFE with us. And if you are considering this program and the SOFE experience, I don't think we could say enough good about it. We really welcome you to share this kind of leadership experience. Thank you.